guys.
Hey, you guys. How's it going? It's Justin,
I'm Hope.
and we're here on another episode, another podcast. And today we want to touch a lighter topic. I know we've been hitting some hard stuff lately. We want to take it back to a lighter topic, but also a very essential topic. And ironically, this is one of the hardest things that anyone will face in their lifetime. But the ironic part is it's not talked about
Not talked about.
at
not
all.
Taught how to navigate.
Nope.
None of that.
Your parents don't talk about this. Your school doesn't talk about this. No one talks about this. Even your friends, y'all don't really talk about this. So today we thought the topic of the day should be relationships. And how to manage them, and what's the right way to go about managing them. And the reason why we really want to break down a right way to go about managing a relationship is because a relationship is probably one of the hardest things you'll ever deal with in your entire life. And so because it's such a difficult thing to deal with, we want to kind of help you guys navigate through. And I'm not saying that we are always perfect, because I guarantee you we both went through toxic situations and learned this lesson the hard way, which is why we want to podcast about it now, so that way maybe you guys don't have to learn things the hard way. Maybe
the conversations that people aren't having.
Yes, have the conversations that people aren't having, so maybe we can gain a better way of understanding how to navigate our relationships, and a better way of understanding what all goes into it and how it's supposed to look versus what the common norm is today.
What's been tolerated to acceptance at this point.
Tolerated, yeah. And unfortunately, it's the norm, and back to being the norm is because no one talks about it. For example, I know even my parents didn't really talk much about how the relationship should be, and even exhibited some toxic traits, while we were growing up, that I almost thought was the norm and should have been tolerated. But later came to learn that I love myself enough not to tolerate those things.
Or you have the opposite spectrum, whereas I grew up, my parents didn't really talk a whole lot about relationships. I didn't see the ins and outs. I never saw them fight, so I never knew how to navigate arguments or anything like that. So there's different sides of the spectrum when it comes to this, but the point is that nobody really teaches you how to do it.
Yes, and so that's where there's grace. But luckily, here we are today. We're going to talk about some of our life experiences, talk about how we navigated through, and how grateful I am that I held myself to a certain level of self-respect, that it allowed me to find someone as amazing as Hope.
And likewise. Very much likewise.
And so I think we're going to start with talking about what is the norm. Because maybe you're watching this and maybe you're not the norm. And if you're not the norm, lucky you. And hopefully you don't end up the norm.
Yeah.
But and the reason I'm calling it the norm is because it's more common than not. There are more people in jail right now for domestic disputes than any other thing, any other crime. That is the highest.
Well, it's at
crime.
Least what they respond to the most.
Yeah. No, there's more people who are in jail right now for some sort of domestic dispute, domestic dispute, than anything else. And you can ask any police officer, that is their most common thing they're pulling up to deal with, which I'm sorry for you guys having to deal with that. That does not sound fun.
No.
But the norm is, as I said, it's a domestic dispute. We tend to get in these toxic relationships, and neither one of us have a lot of self-love for ourselves, and we're both settling because we didn't do the work on ourselves, and now we're at a point where we're emotionally heightened. And in a relationship, something a relationship does is it brings out all your triggers. A relationship's like,
it's a mirror.
It's a mirror. It's almost like forcing you to be better.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that,
well, a good relationship forces you to be better.
A bad one will force you to be worse.
Yeah.
But essentially, that emotional heightenedness, being heightened, emotionally heightened, and then dealing with your triggers or dealing with things that you haven't fixed about yourself yet. And when you're dealing with all of these variables in a relationship, if you're not like ready for a relationship, you really shouldn't be in one. And this is
Right.
another thing that's not talked about.
Right.
None of our parents, well, maybe one of y'all parents did, but none of my parents ever told me, hey, you need to be ready for a relationship.
Or how to be ready for a relationship.
Yeah, or how to be ready for a relationship.
You're ready and you're like, well, I am ready. Yeah. I want a relationship.
They'll hit you with, oh, young love, it ain't real. Puppy love, it ain't real.
The baseline,
high school sweetheart.
The baseline of those emotions are still the same though.
Yeah.
If not the same, maybe even a little more extreme because you're young and you don't know how to navigate and manage your emotions that you feel. So discrediting it as puppy love doesn't really teach you anything.
Nothing.
It just makes you feel like, oh, I'm too dumb to really know what love is, but I know what I feel.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Or we might have that parent that senses that you're talking to someone toxic and they're just like, I don't like them.
Don't talk to them.
Don't talk to them.
No explanation.
No explanation.
What happens when you tell a kid not to do something?
They're going to do it.
They do it.
Yeah, and especially if you don't give them proper logic. There's the variable. You break down a story of something you've been through and what things to look out for in a person. That's knowledge. They can use that knowledge to help navigate dealing with their relationships. But you just tell them, oh, because something about them ain't right. That's not proper education on dealing with a relationship. Then you're just like, what do you know, mom, dad? What do you know? Like, you didn't even give me any logic. Like, you sound crazy.
You just don't want me to be happy.
You just don't want me to be happy. The next thing you know, you're like, oh, they were right. Yeah. I shouldn't have listened. But then at the same time, you're like, man, I really wish they would have broke this down more. Maybe I could have avoided some of this pain. So that's also part of what we're trying to break down today. That's going to be the biggest goal. But essentially, one of the biggest norms of modern day society is we have no knowledge about relationship. No one's helping anybody about relationships. You know, there's not enough people talking about it. And so that is why I want to talk. First, I'm going to talk about how to build a base.
A
foundation in that relationship. And that foundation starts with you. It starts from within. It starts with making sure I'm ready for a relationship and how to do that. And then once I feel like I'm ready for a relationship, I also have to process, is my partner ready? Or this person I like ready for a relationship? And a relationship of my standard.
Right.
And I would highly encourage that we have high standards, because if you settle for someone who's not ready, they will drag your life to prison. Like the biggest one of the, I should look it up. Very big statistic. I want to see, just to be factual. You're the reader.
How many people are in jail for domestic violence? Convicted family violence offenders made up about 22% of nearly 86,500 convicted violent offenders in local jails. Most 60% of these approximately 18,700 jail inmates incarcerated for family violence were in jail for aggravated assault.
Yeah. And that violence happens from your emotions are heightened. You might as well be on a drug. As well be on drugs because your emotions are heightened. You've given your heart to somebody and you've equivalated usually this person to like your survival rate.
Yeah.
You know, you've connected this person to you, and then you're in a trance of not even being able to see a life without this person. And then maybe you'll have that person cheat on you or whatever the case is. And now we're dealing with all that anger and lack of understanding of why they did that thing, and we're taking it out on them, and now we're getting violent.
We're blaming ourselves.
That's a big one, for why they cheated on us. Oh, am I not good enough for you? It has nothing to do with that. They weren't good enough for themselves, so how are they going to be good enough for you?
Yeah.
That kind of goes back to, maybe that's a good starting point of what to talk about, how to make sure you're ready for a relationship. And there's a handful of things that you have to get through, and some of it's views, some of it's how you view things. Typically, if you're an extremely misogynistic male, or is there such thing as misogynistic female? Sexist? What would be
I don't quote wrong.
What would be
I think it's considered misandry, but
misandry? Okay.
I was right.
So yeah,
misandry.
Typically, being misogynistic, male or female, toward the other race is not a way to go about it.
Right.
In this modern day and age, you're not gonna find someone broken enough to be okay with that. And if you do, there's probably going to be problems if they ever start bettering themselves. So, like misogynistic views, if that's something you have, probably something you should get over if you want a higher chance. And if not, you're going to have to you're gambling looking for something a small percentage, and it's probably not going to be the happy relationship that you want, especially in this day and age.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. But that's just one of many. Another one is especially men. I'm mostly speaking to you guys. Dealing with loneliness. I think most men deal with loneliness through their life, and I'm sure women too. But most men deal with loneliness in their life, and you'll be sitting alone and feel this heavy void of nothing matters, or just feeling so alone and that nothing matters. And a lot of men get scared of that loneliness and scared of that feeling, and so they jump in relationships. But if you don't satisfy that loneliness, and let's say you jump in a relationship for whoever will, not to mention women don't want somebody who's lonely. They don't want somebody who's not independent, who depends on them to satisfy their loneliness. Women don't want that. Yeah, most women don't want that. And if you do find a woman who will settle for you, she's probably in the same boat, also dealing with that level of loneliness.
Yeah.
So now you have two low vibrational individuals who are settling, who struggle with deep, depressing loneliness, and now they're together, and then you wonder why. You'll have one start cheating, or they both start cheating, or they're both cheating on each other, and that happens because they have not dealt with that loneliness yet. And that loneliness you deal with alone. You have to walk through that valley of the shadow of death by yourself.
Yeah.
There is no someone holding your hand through dealing with loneliness. You have to go through it. You have to learn to love and enjoy yourself, and being by yourself and having standards and learning how to enjoy life alone before you can add somebody to it, because now you're both settling.
Yeah.
And now that you're both settling, in a matter of time, you might feel good at first, but let a few months roll by. Next thing you know, you feel lonely all over again. And now they're both cheating on each other, or one of them's cheating on the other one. And that comes back down to,
it's a recipe for unsatisfaction.
Yes, because you're like, oh, well, she settled for me, and no one really likes me, no one wants me, and the moment you're out and about and some girl bats her eyes at you, now you're being disloyal, and that's because you were already feeling, you didn't satisfy that loneliness. You were in a relationship still feeling alone,
still searching,
and neither one of you were ready for a relationship in that sense. So there's another one that you have to fix that from within. You have to have that self-love to set standards. How am I going to set a standards for what I will tolerate if I'm so scared of my loneliness? I'll just
tolerate everything.
Yeah, you'll get with someone who's a hoe. And they were a hoe when you found them, but you got with them because they were the only ones who were willing to settle for your sad, lonely self. And now that you're with this hoe, you're mad at the hoe for cheating on you. Like, that's insanity. They were a hoe when you found them. You expect it to change them? They got to want to change themselves.
Yeah.
And you can't do that.
No.
And you can't change. Here's another thing. Anytime you change anything for another person, it's not real.
It's not real.
It's not real. If I make a change about myself for her, it's probably not real. It's probably a lie. If I change it for me, then it's real.
Yeah.
If you have a relationship, let's say they were not faithful to each other, and they're like, oh, I'll be faithful. I'm going to make it work for you because I want to be with you.
It's not.
That's not real. And then now you're mad. Oh, they cheated on me again. You told me you would. You told me you'd be faithful this time.
So you may get a few months of loyalty out of them because they're scared. But once
they blocked all their social medias,
and they just fall right back into it.
Yeah.
just because it wasn't ever a genuine change.
I've met people who they have to have no social media in order to be
Mhm.
loyal, and the moment you do that, I feel like God finds a way to put someone in your path.
Yeah, I mean,
Whether it's someone at work,
you're gonna
whether
get
it's your,
tested
whether you have a
regardless.
neighbor in your apartment move in, God will put you. You can have no social media whatsoever, and nobody might want you until this very moment, because that's like being tested. That's
Yeah.
like God testing you
Yeah.
in a way.
So I'm saying you're gonna be tested regardless
Yeah.
of what measures and precautions you put out there. You'll still be tested.
Yeah. So if you have not satisfied that loneliness, or you're feeling desperate and you don't have standards, you're not ready for a relationship, and that's the truth.
Yeah.
And you can't just get in a relationship to satisfy that loneliness. You're going to take yourself into a deep level of suffering.
Really dark depression.
Yeah, dark place, and you might not make it out of. That's also, I'm gonna go there too. There's a high suicide rate with both suicide and homicide rate with all regarding couples.
Relationships.
Yep.
Yeah.
Suicide and homicide. So like, let that sink in for a moment. There's so many deaths per year, all because of a relationship. Most domestic disputes are all something to do with a relationship, or depressed individuals who crash out or take their own life. A lot of times they're in a relationship, a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And so that's a variable that we're not considering, is that when we put ourselves in these emotional heightened situations, it's dangerous. This isn't a toy. We're playing with fire and not knowing any knowledge about how to navigate it.
Right. I also think that there's something in our culture or our society that has taken a stick it out concept and implemented it into everything, and that's not necessarily a positive thing. I do think that there is value to that statement in itself, because there is meaning to sticking it out through sickness and in health. Like, is there intense medical stuff going on? Is there like simple things? But we're not talking about infidelity or domestic violence or things like that. That's not stuff that you should ever stick it out through.
I agree 110%. I think that would fall under a toxic teaching of society, that like, you'll hear this, oh, stick it through, oh, make it work, oh, just relationships aren't easy. If you have the right one, or you both worked on yourself to a certain degree, it should be fairly easy.
Yeah.
Stick it through should be through sickness and health, should do easy things, not infidelity, not
they're
domestic.
not necessarily easy, but they're using it as like a blanket statement to cover every action or any hard thing that you could go through in a relationship, and they're covering it with that, when in reality, like, there are things you shouldn't tolerate, and there are things that, hey, you crossed a boundary.
Yeah.
So you gotta go.
You gotta go. And that's part of self-love. If we don't love ourselves, we can't set boundaries. So the first wrap up of the first section of what we're talking about is, don't get into a relationship until you feel like you've dealt with that loneliness, you've dealt with all of these problems, you've built yourself to a person who loves yourself above all else. You can't, here's another one, can't love somebody else over yourself. Both of our business model in our relationship, which we're going to be jumping into that too, the business model of your relationship, that's going to be another topic we talk about. But both of our business models of our relationship is, I come first, and for her, she comes first. Yeah. And that's how we manage our relationship. We treat love like you're pouring into a cup. We want to overflow the love from our own cup into each other's. Yeah. Yes. Not pouring out all my cup because you don't love yourself, and you're crashing out all the time and you're struggling. And so I'm just emptying everything I got into you, and you're pouring it into the ground.
You can never love someone so hard into loving themselves. Like, the amount of love you pour into someone will never reflect on how much they love themselves.
Yeah. And when I mean love yourself, I'm not talking about being a selfish prick. I'm not talking about being a disloyal piece of shit. I'm talking about, you care about yourself so much that you wouldn't risk ruining a good relationship.
Right.
You care about yourself so much that you'll set boundaries and not settle for being drugged through the mud, or being cheated on,
prioritize your mental health and your actual physical health and things like that.
Yeah.
That's self-love.
That's self-love. But we'll get to the business model in a minute. I think the next topic is, well, before I get to the next topic, to wrap up what you were saying about society says work through it in small things, not hard, ridiculous, they cheated on me, beat me. You got to have certain boundaries.
Let's say immoral things. We could say immoral things, like, don't push yourself to go through immoral conflicts and things like that. If it is immoral, it's probably meant to be cut off.
I think if either one of us beat each other physically without consent, we are fighters. So it's always with gloves, and we're not never hitting each other as hard as we can ever. But
no,
we train, we fight together. So it's more of a sport, not domestic disputes. If we were ever to physically harm each other or go outside of our marriage to cheat on each other, I would expect both of us, not her, I'd expect her, and I'd expect me to hold our self-love to a tolerance that would cut it off.
Yeah.
I think there should be a tolerance point.
Yeah, I agree.
Of what you allow in your relationship.
I don't think that, there's a thing they say it's about love is unconditional, and so they tie that into a relationship and how that needs to be unconditional. And I believe very firmly that a relationship should be built on conditions. However, love itself is unconditional.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's a great topic to talk about, because I agree. Once you love somebody, once you give someone your heart, whether they're toxic or not, you can't get that back. It's gone.
Right.
They own it. That's theirs.
Forever have that piece.
They'll forever have that piece of you, and that's okay. But you have to love yourself enough to still walk away.
Yeah.
If it's reached a toxic degree.
Yeah. Hey, I have conditions and you're not meeting them. You're actually trashing them. So,
and depending
on, I love you, but I'm gonna love you from a distance.
Yes, depending on the variables, especially if something is life threatening, is dangerous. As I said, physical. Like there's levels of boundaries that you should set in your head before you even get in a relationship.
Yeah.
And be like, you cross these, you're done.
And even have that conversation.
Yes.
If you're looking to get into a relationship with someone, those are things that you should talk about. I know for us personally, we broke down all of our conditions. This is what I'll accept. This is what I won't accept. Mm-hmm. And it's like giving someone a contract.
Love is unconditional, but a relationship is not.
Right.
There's conditions on that. Right. Like I'll love my family regardless. Right? But if let's say my little brother stabs me in the back, I'm still gonna love him, but I'm gonna create distance because I might not survive the next time he stabs me in the back. You know what I mean? So the point I'm trying to make is the love is unconditional. Yeah. But whether someone has that position in your life should very much be conditional.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the next topic is how to run your relationship like a business.
Yeah.
What is your business plan of your relationship? And I solely agree that in a relationship, it should be ran like a business.
Yeah.
A lot of times, and here is where we go back to, I was talking about how our parents or school, no one talks about it, and we think it's cute. Oh, that's so cute. Puppy love. The kids are getting together. Them kids didn't have a conversation. They didn't break down, and you guys can probably relate.
I like the color blue. I like the color blue too. Oh,
you won't be my girlfriend, boyfriend, girlfriend. That's like children relationships, and by thinking that that's okay, like you have adults that do that today.
They still do that.
They meet each other. Yeah. They like each other. They might hook up, and then next thing you know, and once you hook up, you make a connection, which that's another important thing that you shouldn't just do.
Yeah.
But you make a connection, and now you feel connected to this person. And now it's easy for you to fall in love with that person. And once you fall in love with that person, if that person's toxic as all hell, you just lost a piece of your heart for free.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the business model. So in a relationship, before you get in a relationship, and you're welcome to actually make a contract.
Yeah.
I'd actually support that 100%. To get on your computer and print out a contract.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's things that I'm okay with. There's things I'm not okay with. Mm-hmm. Certain questions, like you said, need to be asked.
Expectations. Do you expect transparency? Do you expect honesty? Do you like, what are your expectations in this relationship?
Yeah, and these things should be talked about and agreed upon before you get in a relationship. I mean, it's kind of like a job. That's why I said business. It's kind of like a job. If you're getting hired for a job, they're making you do all these applications and sometimes tests and all kinds of different things to figure out if you're a good employee for their job. You should treat a relationship the same exact way. And the same thing is at a job. If I go and beat up my coworker, I'm probably going to be fired.
Yeah.
So in a relationship, if someone beats you up, they should be fired.
Yeah.
Like, you should have your company should have that policies that
steps outside of some kind of conduct, fired.
Yeah, your company should have some type of policies that hold people accountable.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, now you're ruining your life. Now you're part of the statistic of in prison or in jail for domestic disputes or dead because of a domestic dispute. And it's probably because you weren't running your business correctly.
Yeah.
A relationship is a business.
Yeah.
All right. This is my business partner and my soul partner. But she signed a contract before she got here.
Yeah.
We both signed a contract before we got here. We didn't print it out on paper, but we broke down
somewhere. Text or something.
Hey, we might have something. Yeah. We broke down and talked about every aspect of our code of conduct.
Yeah.
Our expectations. What will get you fired at this job? You go cheat on me or you punch me in the face without my permission, you will be fired. Yeah, and likewise. And so we broke down the contract of how we want to run our relationship. We broke down the conditions in which we will both allow each other to live together and enjoy life together. And if either one of us violates those conditions, I expect both of us to hold each other accountable for violating those, just like a job.
Yeah.
As I say, if somebody beats up a coworker or does something that breaks company policy, they're going to be fired. You can't just be like, oh, he just beats up customers every week. Your job's going to go out of business.
Yeah.
It's gonna,
I think one of the biggest things is actually not being intimidated by having these conversations. Because nobody is having, and if you are, you're rare. But a lot of people are not having these conversations. And how do you expect to hold somebody accountable or even hold yourself accountable if you're not laying out the rule book to the person you're interested in?
Yeah. It should be broken down on that scale. And these are things you should think about. What are my boundaries? Right? Something small, okay, we'll work through it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that we're fragile. Something small, we'll work through it. That is where a relationship can be hard. Small things, like I left the toilet seat up.
He doesn't do that.
I don't. But I'm just giving an example. That's not a reason to be like, all right, I'm done with you.
Yeah, no.
You signed this contract about not leaving the toilet seat up. Like, okay, now you're just sabotaging. That's not what I'm saying. But there should be things that are fireable offenses.
Yes.
Right? Like there's something I could do at a job where I might get suspended. You might get in trouble. You might get,
a write-up.
A write-up. Those are like, you still got your job. You're not fired, but hey, don't do it again. Like I can't even think of an example. But either which, there should be policies and things that you guys should hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
And even if it helps, you can write out a contract of what you're willing. And they might look at you like, a contract? What is this? Hey, this is my standards. Because I love myself so much, I'm not going to allow anybody to drag me through the coals ever again.
Yeah.
Ever again. I've done that. I learned the hard way. I'm not going to do it again.
Yep.
I know how dangerous a relationship can be. It can be extremely dangerous. And a relationship's either going to build you up or it's going to tear you down.
Yeah.
It's either a liability or an investment.
Yep.
One of the two. You're either investing in something that's going to come back tenfold, or it's a liability, and now your business is crashing, or
devastation.
Your relationship is crashing, your life is crashing. You're on child support with this toxic baby mama who just wants to ruin your life. Like there's a lot of variables that go into a relationship. There's a lot of serious aspects that go into a relationship.
Yeah.
And if you don't take it seriously like a business, then you're going to fail.
You're signing up for suffering and heartbreak.
Yikes. Yeah, yikes. I've done it. We've done it. And so we're trying to talk about it and let you guys know about it. So that way maybe you don't have to take the hard way like I did. I'm like, hey, I read that book. You don't have to read it. I know how it ends. It ends it's a terrible book. You don't have to finish it. All right. I see you're reading it. You don't have to. You don't have to finish it. I actually regret reading that book.
Yeah.
I regret it.
The ending is terrible.
You die at the end, like, or you end up in jail at the end, or something like that. Like, not a good book to read. So, point I'm trying to make is, we're using our life experience to try to help you guys understand that a relationship is not a game. It's something to be taken very seriously, and you should go about it in these manners if you want happiness and joy in your life. There's so many different cool topics you can talk about in a relationship, but one of them is, I'll put it this way: difference between a man and a woman. I guess that's a side topic, but men, we want peace at the end of the day. That is what every man, I know all you men can agree with me. At the end of the day, you want peace, right? But women don't care about peace. They care about safety, security. They want to feel secure. They want to feel safe. So we have these two ulterior motives. My number one priority is peace, while her number one priority is safety. And safety is not just physically safe. No. It's emotionally safe. Yeah. It's, am I safe in this position? Am I going to get cheated on? Am I going to get left? Am I going to, am I safe in this relationship? Is this longevity? Can I enjoy my life here? Like, am I safe to be here? Or even physically safe is part of it too. Yeah. Am I safe? That's what a woman wants, to be safe. They want security, versus a man wants peace. Yeah. But I'll tell you this right now, a woman don't give a damn about your peace if she don't feel safe.
That's true.
So just a little advice, for you guys. Know those two differences between a man and a woman. And by understanding those differences, you can help her feel safe and secure in your relationship. And you can help him be at peace and not, as I said.
They work together really well if you do it
correctly. Yeah. Okay, he left the toilet seat up. That's not worth
blowing up and having a whole hissy fit.
Robbing his peace about it. But
just put the toilet seat down.
You know what I mean? But there's maybe talk to him respectfully. Yeah. You can keep his peace in communication.
I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but when you leave the toilet seat up, I don't really like that. So I'd really appreciate if you made more of an effort to put it down whenever you're done.
Yeah, and have patience.
Yeah, because change doesn't happen overnight.
Nope, it happens over time.
And sometimes you even have to ask a few times, but remain respectful in your request.
Yeah, if you're training a dog and it poops on the floor, you don't just kill it if it poops on the floor because you're mad at it. You don't just you got to train this dog. It's going to take repetition to train. You don't just get rid of the dog the first time it poops on the floor. Then you can't keep a dog.
But I think that goes both ways too. I was about to say you kind of.
I know.
But I think it goes both ways. It's not just
an analogy,
not just the female to the man. It could be the man having an issue with the female as well, and how you address that has everything to do with the conclusion of what happens.
Yep, that's also a variable. If you're a man who wants peace, you also sometimes have to remind each other that, hey, my biggest priority is peace, and I'd appreciate if you talk to me respectfully when you're addressing these issues. I will try to do better, but I require peace.
Yeah.
Right? And so, but the point is I spoke respectfully. I'm like, don't talk to me like that. Fuck that. Let's fight. Like that's not the way to keep your peace. So yeah, it definitely goes both ways. And there's a lot of aspects and a lot of mini topics we can break through. And we'd love your feedback. If you got little details, little, because we're only running this for a little less than an hour because we're not trying to make these podcasts too long. It's a lot of editing, a lot of work on her. She does all the hard work. She's the bones, the backbone of this organization. But we're not trying to make this too long. And so, I know there's so many different mini topics to a relationship and different things. And so if you guys have questions or need some relationship counseling, feel free to comment. Feel free to reach out to us, and we can break into specific details of your relationship and help you guys kind of sort that out. But the biggest thing is we gotta love ourselves, and we have to have boundaries.
Yeah.
We have to be able to not put ourselves in those situations. And then now, once we both have boundaries, we can come together, we can agree, I sign here, you sign here. Let's do this. Let's live and enjoy life together. I really enjoy life with you.
Yeah.
You know, but that's because we both agree to each other's terms. Neither
Yeah.
one of us wants to get fired. We both love ourselves enough to where we're like, you're the best thing that's ever happened to me. So I'm not going to mess that up. You know what I mean?
And likewise.
And
yeah.
you know, but that also comes from self-love. It also comes from dealing with those hard things before you get in a relationship. Don't just jump
Right.
into a relationship and or try to fix your partner. That's another variable we might as well go ahead and touch. In a relationship, often when it's, you know, let's say you guys are in a relationship that is repairable, and maybe you guys are always doing this. I'm pointing at her, she's pointing at me. I'm like, you always do this. She's like, well, you always do that. Yeah. We're not going to get anywhere doing that.
No.
If anything, now we're getting to the point where we're both trying to tear each other down. If anything, we should always be self-reflecting. Always be pointing in. You know what? I was wrong here. And you know what? I was wrong here. I'm not saying we're perfect. We've had arguments before. And our arguments, we're always trying to be very careful with, you did this and you always do this. Right. And it's because you. And if you didn't do that, maybe I wouldn't have did this. That's extremely unself-reflective and it's narcissistic.
Yeah.
Let's lean away from narcissism. Everyone's capable of being a narcissist, make no mistake. But let's lean away from that.
Yeah.
Let's try not to be that. So instead of you, I could do a better job at, I didn't like the way, see, look, I didn't like the way you said this to me because it hurt my feelings.
Right.
Because I feel this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah. And then it usually goes like, okay, well, I understand. I can do better on that for sure. But I also didn't like when this happened.
And then I'm like, I'm sorry for that. I could do better at that. You know? Yeah. And now we just resolved the situation with a conversation. We just had a conversation about the issue. Right. It's always, when you're together with someone you plan on staying with that is worth it, it's always you and her versus the problem. It's me and you versus the problem, not me versus you.
Right.
It's not all you. No, it's how do we solve this problem? And sometimes, depending on what the problem is, if, as I said, if it's past those boundaries, they need to solve that alone.
Yeah.
And maybe y'all can even separate, solve it, and get back. I haven't never seen it happen, but I'm not completely opposed to it being possible. I'm sure it's possible.
I'm sure it's happened. It just
rare. That's a rare thing. Most people don't, and that's a fact that everyone should accept. However, if that rare possibility happens, it's only going to happen alone.
Yeah.
Because let's say, let's break it down to an example. Let's say you cheat on me, and every time I look at you, I'm reminded of that. Right. And I got to make you remind you every day about that. And how are you going to build yourself into the new person that you want to be if I'm constantly reminding you of who you were every single day?
Right.
It's not happening.
I read a statistic that I believe it said it can take anywhere between like up to a year for someone to, and that's like the minimum, up to a year for someone to recover from disloyalty in a relationship. And if you're trying to do that repair and you're maintaining your relationship, it's almost you're destroying your potential to thoroughly and properly heal.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to heal looking at you every day thinking about it.
Right.
I mean?
You're just gonna be reminded.
You're not gonna be able to get better if I'm constantly reminding you.
Low key turning into like schizophrenia because you're like watching over your shoulder. You're watching every move, every huff.
Yeah.
Everything. Like you're paranoid.
Yeah. And here's another thing. Now that I'm paranoid because you cheated on me once and you're trying to change, now I'm always checking your phone every day or always asking you this, asking you that. I'm paranoid as shit. And now you're going to be accused as if you're still a cheater every day.
Every day.
And the next thing you know, you're going to be like, you know what? Fuck it. If I'm going to be accused of cheating, I might as well cheat. Fuck it. You know, like, and now you're in this cycling loop where she keeps cheating on you or he keeps cheating on you because y'all have decided to loop.
Yeah.
And end of the day, the best way to solve this is you need to separate.
Yeah.
And she needs to solve it on her own. Let some time for you to heal.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to heal from the wounds, and she needs to heal to build herself into a better person.
Yeah.
And another part of healing is understanding.
Yeah.
If you don't understand, like, if I don't understand why she cheated on me, or if I think she cheated on me because there's something wrong with me, or he had something I didn't have, these are all very negative, incorrect, wrong ways of thinking about 100%. These situations. It's never that there's anything wrong with you.
Right.
If she cheats on me, it's not because of me. And she might say it is, oh, you're always gone working.
It's your fault.
It's your fault. You're always at work. I need emotional support, and he gave it to me.
You don't take me on dates. You don't buy me presents. He did.
You have to be able to step outside and be like, you know what? Something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
Not me.
You don't love yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't love yourself. That's why you're cheating. You don't value this relationship. You don't value these things. And guess what? I have standards. So now you need to fix yourself on your own.
And it's okay because I understand that about you. We're talking about understanding. So,
yeah.
And it's okay because I can understand that this is the way that you are right now, and that makes it okay for me to walk away and heal and have grace for you at the same time.
Yes, facts. I have to be able to, like, you know what? And a lot of times you know a lot about that person, so you should be able to piece the puzzles together.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I understand you might have daddy issues. Your dad wasn't, either wasn't in your life, or maybe you've always just wanted approval from another man, so you need constant validation for your existence.
Trauma of SA or anything like that carries over.
Yeah.
That's not been dealt with. There's a lot of factors.
Or you're dealing with, you don't love yourself, and maybe you need someone else's validation in order to love yourself.
You're looking at external sources to fulfill you instead of internal sources.
Yes. And so now you're looking outside for external sources, and that's cheating.
Yeah.
And so it's not they cheated because there's something wrong with me. Why could I not provide them the happiness? Why was I not good enough? This is all very toxic, terrible self-talk.
Yeah.
Deterioratory. How do you deteriorate yourself into the worst version of yourself? Thinking like that.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of they might even say it's you. You have to be smart enough to know it's not me.
You have to be able to separate it.
You have to be able to separate it. You have to be able to be like, and then once you separate, you're like, all right, you violated my boundaries, you're fired. And once you fire them, give them grace. Allow yourself to understand, like, man, they had daddy issues or this or that or whatever. They really didn't love themselves. Or they felt lonely when they met me, and they might have never fixed that problem before they got together. And so since they didn't fix that problem, it was still there.
Yeah.
They were just pretending it wasn't there while you were together. And next thing you know, it surfaced. Because if you don't fix the problem, it's going to keep surfacing.
I think another big thing to staple onto that is not to fall into the hot and cold aspect of standing firm in separating and kicking them out or whatever it is that you're doing, and then a week later letting them come back in. Mm-hmm. Don't be hot and cold. If you're going to hold yourself and someone else accountable, you have to stand firm in that, hey, we separated a week ago. Yeah. We cannot do this again until we straighten up this, and this.
Yeah.
If we do these factors, if we work on ourselves and then we fall back together, great.
And a lot of time, change takes time.
Yeah.
That's a variable. So if you expect them to change overnight or in a week, you probably have too high of expectations.
Yeah.
Expectations are like the root of disappointment.
Yeah.
My point I'm trying to make is we need to hold them accountable, hold ourselves accountable, and a great practice you can do once you separate, because it's going to be depressing. You're going to miss that person.
You're going to feel the withdrawals. Yeah. It's like you said earlier, it's like you're on drugs,
mm-hmm.
and once you pull yourself off of those drugs, you're going to experience withdrawals.
Withdrawals, yeah. And now you're feeling all the loneliness that you forgot about.
And you just want a quick fix, and so you bring them back in.
Mm-hmm. And that's not the fix. And if you're dealing with that level of loneliness, that should tell you, like, damn, I shouldn't be feeling this bad.
Right.
Damn. Like, and remind yourself, what did she do?
Mm-hmm.
And I would highly recommend a good practice to do in this situation. Take a lot of time to meditate.
Yeah.
If you're constantly grinding and working all the time and you don't take time to think about these kind of things and think about, okay, why'd they do it?
Right.
And Don't ever say it's because of me. You know, that's not. If someone's disloyal, they're disloyal because of them.
Yeah, it's
You
not
know,
you.
that's not you. You know, you should never have to be good enough for a person. If you do, that's probably not your person.
Right.
So step outside and process. Okay, was she depressed? Yes. Okay, that makes sense why she cheated on me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense. She felt lonely when we got together. She never fixed that within herself. Give her
Right.
grace, let her go.
Yeah.
And then make sure you work on that within yourself.
Yeah.
And then now it makes it really easy to set boundaries for the next one. You're like, oh, do you love yourself? You know, blah, 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 blah. Well, tell me about your last relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about what you did wrong. Also, that's another thing. Look for self-reflectiveness in a partner.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of non-self-reflective people out here, and it's crazy. But that is an important thing to have. These are questions you don't just hire anybody off the streets for this job. This is the most important job in your life. So you need a very good worker or a very good soulmate, very good person for this job.
Yeah.
And to find that person, you have to ask all of the right questions. And you have to look for self-reflective traits.
Yeah.
Are they self-reflective? That's the ability to, when we're in a disagreement, I can point at me and you can point at yourself. The most dangerous thing is when I point at me and you point at me too.
Yeah.
That causes deterioration. Or I point at her and she points at herself.
Yeah.
Now she's blaming herself for all the issues. Oh, he only cheated on me because my pussy dry.
Oh, God.
You know, well, that's what he said. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's all kinds of crazy shit that happens. You know, like, oh, you know, and you're blaming yourself. You're like, oh, I'm gonna start changing my diet. Maybe that'll keep them. Like, you're like, listen, you sound down bad. Like, love yourself. Love yourself first, and love yourself more than you love this piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know, love yourself. Love yourself. Hold yourself to those standards. These are the key. Love comes from within. Happiness comes from within. And if you don't feel that love and happiness before you get in a relationship, what are you building on? Yeah. When you come together, think about it. You have two things that come together. If they're dynamite and you're a small brick house, you're going to get blown the fuck up.
Yeah.
Build your foundation strong. So that way, if you see dynamite, you're like, you ain't getting in this house.
Yeah.
You know, that's part of self-love. But y'all both love yourselves and love each other. Now you can come together. I built this much of a house, and I know how to build this much of a house. I'm a good electrician. Oh, are you? I'm a good bricklayer. You know, and you can build a foundation to your relationship, and y'all both just gonna keep building. Yes. And next thing you know, you're achieving your dreams. You're walking the path you want to walk. You're living and enjoying life even more. They should enhance your already happiness. Don't expect them to be your happiness.
Right.
That's the variable. These are all keys in finding the relationship that you want. And I hope that we broke it down well enough that's helpful. Because as I said, this stuff, for most of you, I'm sure, was not talked about. I'm sure your parents didn't break into these things. School never talked about these things. You know, but yet it is going to be one of the hardest things you'll ever deal with in your life. So
treat it as such.
Treat it as such. It is a very important thing. As I said, treat it like a business.
I feel like the dollar value on relationships has dropped tremendously, and we need to increase it.
Yeah.
We need to prioritize it more.
Yeah. Oh, you don't love her if you could let her go. No, I love myself more, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That is part of the key. And I know you have a lot of people saying that, oh, you should love others more than yourself. That's not true.
No.
How can you? How is that possible?
Yeah.
How can you, if you don't love yourself?
You don't love yourself, how are you supposed to give love?
Yeah. How can you love someone else if you don't love yourself?
How do you really know what love is to give if you don't love yourself?
How can you be mad at someone for not being able to love you when they didn't love yourself? Here's another variable. Right. You got a lot of men, and you got a lot of women who are always looking at this person like, oh, I can fix them. They're a work in progress, but I can fix them. You can't fix nobody.
No.
If that's a thought you've had in your head, throw it in the trash. You can't fix or control anybody.
No, control is a big thing too.
Let's jump on it. Let's jump on it. We got about 10 minutes left, and I think that's the one. Love is not controlling.
No, not in any way, shape, or form.
No, it is patient. It is kind. Never controlling.
Right.
And so if you find yourself controlling, or you gotta go through their phone constantly to make sure they're not cheating, or not allow them to go hang out with the boys or hang out with the girls because you don't trust them.
Gym, things like that.
Yeah, you can't go even leave the house because like that's controlling.
Mm-hmm.
That is controlling. And love is patient and kind, not controlling. You cannot, or you have these toxic relationships where they'll be threatening their partner. You ever leave me, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
That's controlling. That's abuse.
Oh,
that's
abuse.
That's abuse. That's controlling. Like, you think it's cool to be crazy. It's not cool to be crazy.
No.
If someone says some shit like that, run.
They're manipulating you and trying to control you. Both factors are not good.
If you find yourself thinking, oh, I want my girl to, she's crazy, run. Yeah. Or I don't want him to know I'm here hanging out with my girls. He's crazy.
Run.
Or even, I see this often with humans in general, is you'll have times where women can't talk to men or men can't talk to women because they have a boyfriend or girlfriend. Like, what? You can't. And I'm not talking talk as like relationship talk. I'm talking about just a regular conversation.
Hey, how you doing today? Or something as simple as like holding the door open for the other person.
Yeah.
I've seen people get genuinely mad about their significant other holding the door open for the opposite sex. Like, you want them to be an asshole to everybody?
They're going to be an asshole to you. And they're going to be an asshole to you. Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's, love is not controlling. You should never be trying to bend your partner around your insecurities. Because that's what it is.
That is what
if you're afraid that they're going to cheat on you, maybe because your ex did, or maybe because they did before, you can't control them. If they're going to cheat on you, they're going to cheat on you. Yeah. Let them go.
Yeah.
Let them go. You can't control them. Stop trying.
Yeah.
Stop. You want to find peace or happiness or security or safety? Stop trying to control them. You can't manipulate a human being's soul and will by control.
Right.
They have to control themselves.
Yeah.
I can't, or even change. I can't make her change anything. Nothing. No. But only she can change herself, and only I can change myself. That's the variable. And so when we're in a relationship and we're building life together, I'm always worried about making myself a better person, and she's always worried about making herself a better person.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying you can't give each other advice. You can do advice.
No, we talk all the time.
Yeah, we can give each other advice. That's fine. But advice sounds like I just give her wisdom. I'm not telling her, you need to do this, that, and the other thing, and no, I'm not doing that. Right. I'm saying, well, I'll give a story of me working on something that I worked on.
How you can relate to it. And
I can relate to it.
How you learned to navigate it.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing.
And try to help you with that.
Yeah.
But you gotta do the work on your own. Yeah. I can't do the work. I can't do the wirings. I'm not an electrician. You are. Yeah. I love looping analogies. But my point I'm trying to make is you can't control people. It's not a thing. Stop trying to do it. That's the common thing I see in most toxic relationships is you have, sometimes they're both controlling each other. Or sometimes you'll have someone get mad because, oh, she don't ever let me go hang out with the boys, so why she get to go out with the girls? And now neither one of them can go out and do anything separate from each other because they're both afraid of being cheated on. That's crazy. It's crazy. Stop doing it, please. You will never find you'll lose your mind. You'll never find happiness in that.
Right.
Right? Is the relationship building you? Are you finding yourself happy more often than not? Do the pros outweigh the cons? Are you constantly stressed out all the time? And especially if it's emotionally heightened, is it worth it?
Right.
Something I even do, I'll calculate how often I feel it. If I feel emotionally stressed out, emotionally dysregulated, if that happens every single day, maybe it's time to start reevaluating. If I'm stressed out every day, that's how I get robbed of my peace. I'm like, that's the opposite of my goal is peace. My goal is peace. Her goal is safety and security.
Right.
Those are like the same thing. When I say safety, that's what they mean. Just in case some of y'all knuckleheads don't know that. But yeah, that's our goals at the end of the day. And we're supposed to be here to help each other get there. But not bending people around our insecurities. Not treating someone like they're our ex just because we don't know how to deal with our own trauma.
Right.
That's a big one too. Is a lot of people, they carry the trauma from their last relationship, take it into the new one. Now they have all these expectations that they expect their partner to do because they had those expectations in the last relationship with this narcissistic, cheating piece of shit. And
yeah,
don't take that into the new relationship.
No.
Analyze it, set your boundaries, and then if you see those things coming, leave. You should never have to feel like you have to control someone
in order for a relationship to work.
Yeah, it's not the way. And if you feel like you have to change or control someone for those reasons, you shouldn't be in a relationship.
Right.
If you can't let your girl go work out at the gym because you're scared another nigga is gonna be looking at her butt or talking to her or something like that, you're not ready for a relationship, and that's just the truth. You can be mad at me if you want. That's okay. But I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm gonna shoot you straight every time. Yeah. Every time. Because I care about you. Care about you guys. So anyone watching this video, know I care about you to my deepest core. I've been through some painful, hard shit, and that's why I want to tell you guys not to follow in those footsteps, because they're not good footsteps. I still deal with pain from past relationships. I still carry that, and it's heavy and it hurts, and I don't want that for you guys, and that's why I started podcasting in the first place. We started podcasting because we both know pain, and we know it so well that we feel like if we can help you guys not have to go through that much pain, then that makes us feel better about the pain we went through. It takes a weight off my regret. It takes a weight off my soul to be able to help you guys.
Yeah, 100%.
So, anything else we want to touch on for this?
I mean, I know we'll probably add more as time goes.
I know
this is something that we talk about often, just because. All the time. Well, I mean, we talk about everything often, but keynotes was
self-love.
Self-love.
Love yourself. Work on yourself before you get into a relationship. Don't jump into a relationship until you're ready.
Yeah, our second key was how to run your relationship off of like a business mentality.
Mm-hmm. And on top of that first one, if someone's never been single their whole life, be cautious. Yeah. Second one, how to run your relationship like a business. You should. Yeah. It doesn't mean you don't love that person. It simply means you love yourself more, and that's okay.
Just one last little thing. Just remember that when you're communicating with your partner, your motive should be to use them as a mirror. Something I really enjoy is to remember that you're not looking at a portrait of your partner. If you're looking at a portrait, you're only looking at them. You're not looking at yourself. So you need to be looking at your partner as a mirror so that you can self-reflect and look at yourself and fix the problems within yourself, and they'll be doing the same thing, hopefully. And so that's how you become a good relationship. That's how you compromise and communicate, is by looking in. It's never a portrait, it's always a mirror.
Yeah, self-reflection is essential. If you get with somebody who's not self-reflection or doesn't have self-reflection, cannot self-reflect, you're always going to be the problem for every trigger, every problem they have.
Yeah.
They could feel like because you even spoke to another woman that you're cheating on them, and you might not have done anything ever disloyal to them. That's probably them carrying past trauma into this one. Right. And if they can't self-reflect and be like, you know what, I'm sorry, you're right.
Right.
I think I'm dealing with an insecurity. I need to fix this. Then this is probably something you don't want to keep putting up with your whole life, because it's going to rob you of your peace.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys are self-reflective. And if you don't know what that means, look it up. We also have a podcast about self-reflection. Mm-hmm. Watch that one. It'll tell you everything you know about how to be self-reflective. And that is the key. I'm always working on myself. She's always working on herself. It's always me and you versus the problem, not me versus you, you versus me.
Right.
And so these are all key things in how to navigate through your relationship, how to make it a peaceful, happy relationship. And as I said, I hope this is stuff that helps. Love is not controlling. It's patient. It's kind.
Yeah.
So no controlling. If they're going to go cheat, let them.
Yeah.
Let them. Don't take their keys and be like, oh, you ain't going to work because you're going to cheat
on
me.
That's crazy. Show you how to move. That's all it does.
Yeah. I know relationships that's made their partner quit jobs because they're insecure about the person, that some girl that's at that job. Like, that's crazy. Let's not. We also have to, part of self-love is having confidence and security. Am I secure in myself? Am I secure? Do I value myself to a certain degree? Because if, let's say I was in a last relationship and someone told me I wasn't worth shit and they cheated on me because of me, and so I feel like I ain't shit, and I get in a new relationship still feeling like that, now I feel like I'm replaceable.
Yeah.
And now you're trying to by force bend somebody around that feeling, and that's not love. That's control.
Right.
And we have to work on those problems from within. I have to go back and self-reflect on why I feel that way. I have to figure out, oh damn, I never understood this last person and why they cheated on me. And so now I'm taking it into the new one. That's why I said meditation is very important too. And not just sometimes in a relationship, and this may sound rough, but sometimes you might have to even think about the person who hurt you in the last relationship, in your new relationship. You might have to take a meditation moment and be like, you know what? Why am I like this? Do I still have toxic traits? Maybe I do. And now I'm taking it out on my partner. And instead of blaming them for my toxic traits or them making me feel this way, I need to figure out
why I'm toxic.
Why I'm toxic. What's toxic about me?
Mm-hmm.
Who did this to me? Oh, it was this person from the last. Now I need to take a meditation moment and figure out why that person did it. Because that gives clarity. And once I get that clarity,
I can heal. And now I can also learn how to repair and handle further situations better.
Yes. Yes. And now I'm like, you know what? You're not that last person.
Right.
So anytime I feel triggered, I'm not associating you to be them. I'm associating you to be you. Mm-hmm. And maybe I feel triggered from something they did.
Right.
But that's all we have. I wasn't trying to keep going too much longer. But I hope that you guys got all that, and I hope it helps. I really do. I hope it helps. So you guys enjoy. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Again, shoot us feedback, shoot us messages. If you're struggling in your relationship, we are always very open to help. Yeah. We will even talk to you and have relationship counseling and do things like that and help you guide through it. We are always more than welcome, more than open.
Yeah.
So, but you guys enjoy. We love you. Live life. Enjoy life. Like and subscribe. Let's if you like this message, share it. If you know a toxic relationship, send this video to them, and maybe it'll help. That's our goal. Our goal is to help people. We love all of you, and we want to spread that love and that unity to the world. That's part of our mission. We kind of try to recap on that every time we end our podcast. Is our mission is to make the world a better place. Right. So that is our goal. Don't be afraid to send this to your loved ones. Send this to your friends. We care. We love you, and hopefully it helps.
All right. Peace out. Audio Jungle.